Hi everybody and welcome back to the Upside Dan. Today I will be reviewing episode 1 and episode 2 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was a little out of it last week, so that's why I did not get my review for episode 1 up, but I did film it, so this is going to be that review. You'll notice my hair was cut, and then obviously episode 2 review. So let's get right into it. What did I think of the new MCU Disney Plus show so far? The Falcon and the Winter Soldier follows the events of Avengers Endgame. Sam Wilson, the Falcon, and Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, team up in a global adventure that tests their abilities and their patience. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is created by Malcolm Spellman and directed by Kari, Skogland. The series stars Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, Aaron Kellyman, Daniel Bruhl, and Emily Van Camp. Episode 1 is titled New World Order. Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes realize that their futures are anything but normal. So I was super excited for WandaVision and this one the most out of all of the MCU shows coming up. I'm excited for all of them. I'm pretty much going to watch all of them. I love Marvel. So of course I'm there. But these two were definitely, they're the first ones out the gate with what happened. They weren't supposed to be the first things of Phase 4, but they ended up being that. And I was so excited for these two shows, and I am glad with what we got. This is going to be a spoiler review for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier Episode 1. So if you have not seen The Falcon and the Winter Soldier Episode 1, don't go any farther, or if you don't care, go farther. Whatever. But anyway, this is going to be my spoiler review for it. So we start out with Sam is getting ready for what appears to be a memorial service for Captain America. We get into this great action scene, this cinematic action scene. This action scene, literally, this could have been a Marvel movie. Really, I felt like I was in the theater watching a Marvel action scene. It's so well produced. That's what I love about these Disney Plus shows. Marvel and Disney put a lot of money behind them. So this action scene is great. It's a flying, from helicopter to plane in the air with Falcon. He's trying to get, someone from the military back from the bad guy. And we see the character that Captain America first fights in the Winter Soldier, I believe, in hand-on-hand combat. I can't think of his name right now. But he's back just for a brief scene. This great action scene. Very, very good choreographed action. Cool effects. I absolutely love Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson and the Falcon. And, of course, I love Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes and the Winter Soldier. I think that when we see them together, they're going to have really good chemistry. What we've seen in the movies so far, what we've seen in the previews for these, they actually do not meet in this first episode yet. So it's interesting to see when they're going to meet, when we're going to meet other characters, because there are some main cast members that have not showed up yet. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, Zemo. Zemo is one of my favorite villains. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I actually loved him in Civil War. I thought that he basically did what he wanted to do. Yeah, some of it you could say would have happened anyway. Or, some of it was, that's just coincidence, But he did what he was set out to do. And I can't wait to see him. Daniel Bruhl's great as the character. I cannot wait to see more of him in this show. So anyway, I love the leads, and I'm so glad that these Disney Plus shows have given us a chance to learn more about secondary characters from the series. It's a great chance to learn about them, to emotionally connect to them, to get more development from them in TV show form on this streaming service that Disney has. It's just great. So I loved the action. And then we get into, a Bucky scene as the Winter Soldier. So a flashback. He's doing some great action yet again. This is just so well choreographed. It was really cool to see Bucky Barnes. It's really cool to hear the Winter Soldier theme. I absolutely love the score for the Winter Soldier. So it's very nice to hear. I love the score so much in so many of the MCU projects. Captain America, the Winter Soldier has a great score. And this felt just like a continuation. It's after the events of Endgame, but it just felt like Winter Soldier-y, Civil War-y-ish, because, it's focusing on the characters from that, and of course we're going to get Sharon, and of course we're going to get Zemo. So it's just a great feel, because those are, a lot of people revere, especially The Winter Soldier, is one of the best MCU films. And of course I love it. I love the spy thriller aspect. It's a different kind of genre for the MCU, and they did it very well. Those are actually the main action scenes in this episode, so you get more kind of the depth of these characters, which I definitely appreciated. Like I said, I'm just glad that Disney Plus is able to do this. I guessed right away that, right when I found out that Bucky was making amends, that guy that we saw him kill in his first scene was going to be the son of this older gentleman that he has been hanging around with. I knew that was going to happen. I liked the therapy scene. You really get to feel for this character, and you feel the emotion of therapy. It's a funny, witty scene as well. I liked the banter back and forth between the therapist and him, and you learn, of course, that he's making amends. You see a scene of him making amends with the 3 rules that he has to follow. And then we get, more into Bucky's, kind of into his dating life. He's not really dating, he's kind of out of the game. And the old man that I mentioned, he asks the girl at the diner that they're eating at, oh, he wants to take you on a date. Oh, he blah, blah, blah. And she actually goes for it. Not surprising. And they go on a date later, and it's cute. It's just hard to believe that someone that looks like Bucky would be off their game. I know that it's been 90 years or whatever, but it's like somebody that looks like him is off their game. It was kind of odd just to see. But of course she said yes. Of course they have a nice date until he ends up leaving. He's going to go tell the older gentleman that he's the one that killed his son, which he's been waiting to do. And he couldn't do it. He sees a shrine. I think that was a reveal for some people. Some people that, I don't know. I know people that didn't guess that right away. For me, I guessed it, like I said, right away. But still a great scene, emotional. You look inside Bucky. He's not just brushing past what he's done in his years as the Winter Soldier. What has happened with the Sokovia Accords, Civil War, what has happened in all of that, what has happened in Infinity War and Endgame. He's not just, brushing past that as if it didn't happen. He has PTSD-like symptoms from those acts, from what happened. So it's very good to delve into a character's psyche like that. And another thing that I liked about WandaVision, again, these shows just give you a better look into the psyche of these secondary characters that don't get that much screen time in the movies. Sam is having, his plotline is with his sister and her sons. Mostly the sister, them trying to get on their feet financially, trying to not sell this boat that's been in the family for years. They're trying not to do all this. They go to a bank, and you're kind of given a sneak peek into how the Avengers get paid. They don't. Tony Stark, I guess, didn't. They paid them, which doesn't totally sit right with me. I feel like they should have got paid. I don't know how they would have done it. Like, yeah, it is odd to think about superheroes getting paid, but they need money. And it's brought up, oh, you don't have good credit for the past, you haven't had credit for the past 5 years. You haven't had jobs for the past 5 years. Well, you've been gone. So it's hard to have a job when you're gone. But it is, I think that's how the real world will work. So it's interesting to see that. I think that there would be new policies in place, even whether they don't care that you disappeared for 5 years, even though it was in no way your fault. So the only hint that we kind of get of Sam and Bucky's reunion is during the therapy session. She said, oh, I see you've been ignoring texts from Sam. So I really can't wait for these two characters to meet. It's called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier for a reason. We want to see them working together. Their banter back and forth. Their bromance. Their enemy-ish. They have a bromance, I think. And it's going to be nice to see because they kind of don't like each other, but they kind of do. And we'll see. I can't wait for more of this show. I cannot believe we only have 5 more episodes left. But I'm so excited. Okay, so then we end with a cliffhanger. So before I get to the cliffhanger, I do want to say I definitely liked the first half of this episode. I loved the first half of this episode. It felt just MCU, the MCU that we've been wanting, that we didn't all get from WandaVision, because WandaVision was so different. I loved WandaVision. I love WandaVision. And I love this so far too. The second half though, I just kind of like. It was fine. I wasn't a huge fan of the cliffhanger. I guess I get what it means. But it's like we already knew that U.S. Agent was going to be in the show. I already knew Wyatt Russell was playing him. I guess the big reveal though is that they gave him the shield that we see Sam, earlier during the memorial or the dedication to Steve. He dedicates the shield to the museum and they keep it there. But then you find that the government, in which would happen in real life, the government would, they want a new hero. They want to hype it up. They want to get recognition for something, and they hired basically this new Captain America, played by Wyatt Russell, and he comes out in a costume similar to Captain America. He has the shield. Sam is watching this on TV. Sam's like, oh no. He didn't say any of that, but something is going to go down now that this guy has the shield that no one was supposed to have. Another plus of this episode, I want to say, is seeing Don Cheadle. Just seeing, I'm a huge fan of Don Cheadle anyway. War Machine is good, and I just like seeing Don Cheadle. But it's not just Don Cheadle, it's that we're seeing another Avenger in this show, It's very nice to see. I know that it was confirmed that he was going to be in the show somehow, and it definitely makes sense for this show, but it was very nice to see him have a scene with Sam towards the beginning at the memorial for Steve Rogers. So anyway, those are my thoughts pretty much on this episode. I liked it. I loved the first half. I'm super excited for what's to come. Cannot wait to see how this one wraps up. This is one that I could see getting a second in season and beyond, because it's just the adventures of Sam and Bucky. Cannot wait to see Zemo. Cannot wait to see Sharon. Cannot wait to see what is up with this other bad guys, this group of bad guys. Why that guy has super strength, basically. I'm a fan of Torres as well. I don't know if he's a main character at the point of me looking. So at the point of me reviewing, the last time I looked, he's only credited for the one episode, but I doubt that he won't be back. He seems kind of like a side character, but a main character maybe? I don't know. But I like Torres so far. He's a fun character, and he's energetic, and he supports Sam. I liked it. I thought it was a really good premiere, and like I said, I'm looking forward to more. Episode 2 is titled The Star-Spangled Man. John Walker is named Captain America, and Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes team up against the rebel group, the Flag Smashers. I loved The Star-Spangled Man. That's the second episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The first 2 episodes are now streaming on Disney+. Go check them out if you haven't already. I am really enjoying this show so far. It just feels very MCU. It feels epic, and especially for a TV show. Like, there's these action scenes in this show, like I mentioned, that just feel like it's an MCU movie. Like I'm watching it in the theater, just like any old MCU movie. So that I definitely appreciate that, and I definitely appreciate that in general about these Disney Plus Marvel shows. Like if WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier are any indication, these Marvel shows are going to be great. We start out with a cold open. We get a peek at Wyatt Russell's character, John Walker, and who is the new Captain America. He's U.S. agent. We get a little peek of him. He's in the locker room of his old high school. He's about to go out, and talk in front of the stadium. And he peels back the sticker on his locker, and it reveals his initials. After last episode, I think a lot of people were like, not my cap, hashtag not my cap, which I get, don't get me wrong. Steve Rogers is my cap. I love Steve Rogers. I love Chris Evans as the character. Captain America is one of my favorite heroes in the MCU. So anyway, we have that scene, the cold open, and his friend Lamar Hoskins comes in, and they have a little conversation. Then it goes to the opening MCU intro, which to a different tune, to an American themed tune. And we get him speaking at the football game. I know, like I said, we wanted to say not my cap. I don't mind him so far. I'm a fan of Wyatt Russell, at least from 22 Jump Street, one of my favorite comedies. So it's nice to see him here. He's not my cap, and we'll get to that more towards the end of this episode, but until that end of this episode, he says, stay the hell out of my way. You know, until that, I kind of liked this character. And with this character of John Walker, I more so like the conflict that it sets up, the storyline that it sets up between Bucky and the Falcon. You know, he sets up a conflict with them. They're skeptical because obviously Steve Rogers is one of their best friends, and he was the Captain America. He is the Captain America, and of course, Cap gave Sam his shield. So there's that conflict that this character sets up, which I really appreciated. I think Wyatt Russell does great in the role. We get right into Bucky and Sam finally meeting for the first time in the show so far, which I love their banter back and forth. They have a great bromance. They have problems with each other, but they have just a really good bromance, a really funny, witty bromance. I love some of their lines back and forth at each other. This is just a good episode. We get to this action scene on the trucks that we saw part of it in the trailer, and I didn't expect this, but U.S. Agent comes and helps them during the scene, and we didn't see that in the trailers, obviously, so it was a nice surprise, and in a weird way, it was nice seeing Captain America, I know, not my Cap, it was nice seeing Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and the Falcon fighting together. You know, just 3 Avengers. I know he's not really an Avenger yet, but he is the new Captain America. So it was nice seeing that they do get their butt kicked. So originally, Bucky was trying to save a hostage that he saw, but it wasn't a hostage. It was one of the Flag Smashers, Kari, who we've seen in the trailers. So then after the fight, after they get their butts kicked, they're walking, and U.S. Agent, who we now found out who Lamar is, he's Battlestar, who is a sidekick to U.S. Agent in some point in the comics, I believe. They try to pick them up. Bucky's like, no. Falcon's like, no, but not as adamant as Bucky is. They do end up getting in. You know, he kind of talks down to them, though, U.S. Agent. He's like, oh, you guys were the sidekicks. When really, they were Avengers in their own right. Yes, they helped Steve a lot. They were Steve's best friends. So they leave. So this is one of the first conflicts, kind of, with U.S. Agent. And then we, you know, another scene that I really liked was they go and meet Isaiah, one of Bucky's old, I don't want to say pals, but someone Bucky used to know, who turns out that he was a super soldier 70 plus years ago, I believe. And they tested him. You know, he was the first, and he's African American, so he was really one of the first black superheroes. And Falcon is, you know, kind of angry that Bucky wouldn't share this with him. And Isaiah is basically like, get the heck out. He doesn't want to have anything to do with this. He doesn't want to help. They walk out. Bucky and Falcon get into a little argument. The police, of course, come, and they, of course, are really just focusing on Sam. Which, by the way, I love about this show is that it's bringing in racial issues, racism, racial injustice. It's bringing those topics to light in Disney Plus MCU show, which is just great, because a series has, you know, a TV series has more of a chance, and obviously longer, to do that than a movie does. Movies do it fine, don't get me wrong, they do it great, but this had more chance to bring in these topics to the light, which I'm just so happy about, because it gives this a deeper meaning. It gives this show a deeper meaning. No, it's not just some popcorn action TV show. It has these issues that come to light. Kind of like WandaVision, for the most part, you know, dealt with grief. This is dealing with the racial tensions, which is great. And so they figure out that they're Avengers. They don't, but they do have to arrest Bucky because he missed his court-mandated therapy session. The therapist comes to the jail cell, and it turns out U.S. Agent Captain America was the one that let them out, that bailed Bucky out. But Bucky and Sam had that really funny therapy session that you see part of in the trailer. I loved that scene. You know, these two, like I said, just are such a great team. I love them as a couple. Not couple, but, you know, a bromance. They have a great back and forth. U.S. Agent tries to offer them an olive branch again to join him. And they're like, no, we're free agents. We can do whatever we want. You have to go through all these steps and stuff. So they say no. And then U.S. Agent is like, well, then stay the hell out of my way. Which, you know, it was the first time really you're seeing him be meanish. yeah, he talked down to them before about them just being sidekicks, but this was kind of the first indication that maybe he's something more. Should he be trusted? Which I actually got that you can trust him a little bit, you know. I'm not sure about the comics, so I don't know if U.S. Agent is a villain in the comics or whatever. But I don't know. He seems like he was a good guy. He went through all this training. He did his time in the war. He wants to do right by the legacy that Steve Rogers left behind. So they part ways. Bucky and Sam walk away from U.S. Agent. And then they're talking about the, so wait, first we get, I can't remember exactly what part. I can't remember what order, because I'm not really going through this. This is not really a recap. I'm just kind of going through my favorite scenes and what I thought about them. I know I'm pretty much going through the episode, but not as in detail as WandaVision. Just because WandaVision had more hints, you know, they had more Easter eggs and things to pick apart and theorize about, and I don't want to theorize anymore. I do not want to theorize anymore. Not after WandaVision. We do get a scene, you know, with the Flag Smashers, and they're scared that the Power Broker, basically someone found out where they were, and they're coming for them, and one of the guys on the team, who seems really close to Kari, he stops them as they get on the plane and, you know, fly off. So, and then we had Bucky and Sam. They're walking, and they're talking, and I knew it was coming. I'm so excited, and I knew they were going to end the episode at that part. But they mentioned Zemo. They have to get Zemo'S help, basically. They have to ask him about Hydra, because he knows more about Hydra than even Bucky does, because Bucky was just under, you know, the trance as the Winter Soldier. Then it goes to a cell, and you see Zemo, and the episode ends. So I just thought this was a great episode. I definitely liked it more than the first episode, but I've liked everything we've seen so far pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. But I do want to say something about the second episode. There was an emotional moment. I love Bucky and Sam's bromance, like I said, and I want them to be friends. And during the therapy scene, you know, some hurtful stuff is getting tossed back and forth. And Bucky, as he's leaving, he's like, what was rule number 2 again? Don't hurt anyone, indicating that he was hurt by that session. So I really love that scene. That was one of my favorite scenes, the therapy session in the you know, in that room that we saw in the trailer. That was one of my favorite scenes from the show so far. So anyway, obviously I'm not going to rate it because it's not done yet. It's just 2 episodes. There's 4 more episodes left. I can't believe that there's only 4 more episodes left. But I'm excited. I love this show so far. I really do. And this was probably my second most anticipated MCU Disney Plus show. And I think it's paying off so far. I cannot wait to see more. What did you guys think of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 1 and 2? From now on, I'm definitely going to try to obviously get the episodes out. Hopefully the day of. I'm not sure yet. But anyway, what did you think of the first 2 episodes? Comment down below. Are you liking this show so far? We still haven't seen Sharon Carter. I'm excited to see her. And we've only gotten the one shot of Zemo. Definitely excited to see more of him. I'm a huge fan of Zemo. I thought he was a great villain in Captain America Civil War. So what did you think of the episode so far of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Comment down below. Blow up those comment sections. If you liked what you've seen here and you want to see more, click around here to see more. I have WandaVision deep dives, and I look forward to continuing to do The Falcon and the Winter Soldier reviews. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier fans in your life. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, and come to the Upside Down.